It's Spider-Man and his amazing robot friend, the Tri-Sentinel. Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important comic book review. So you, the fans, can make a decision on what comic books to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about The Amazing Spider-Man. This is issue 4. If you go by that legacy numbering, this is 805. That's right, fans. This is the continuation of Back to Basics. This is part 4. And this is the story where Spider-Man is dealing with the separation of himself. So, this book is written by Nick Spencer, and the artwork is done by Ryan Ottley. The artwork in this book is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. We get to see Mendel Stromm in this issue, who's used to be the assistant to Norman Osborn. Aunt May looks good in this issue. Unfortunately, we don't get Mary Jane, but we know she's a presence in this book, so don't worry, fans. We know she's part of this series now. Okay? Tri-Sentinel looks good. We get to see a few other characters in this book, like B-rated villains for panels. They look good. So I think Ryan Ottley's doing a nice job in this series overall. So let's talk about this book, okay? So from this point forward, there will be spoilers. So if you haven't read your copy, please read your copy, come back, and then you can put any discussion you want in the comments below, all right? So here we go. So in the beginning of this book, all right, we wind up getting to see the seeds that are being planted for future stories. We get to see this poacher who's being chased because obviously he killed an animal in the last issue. I think it was a rhino or whatever the case may be. And so what that story is going to have in the future, we don't know yet. But it's always one page and it moves forward. So then we find out who is the one that released this Tri-Sentinel on the city. And we found out that it's Mendel Stromm, okay? Which, this guy was created back in '66. Creation of Steve Ditko and Stan Lee. This was the scientist assistant to Norman Osborn. Helped them create the serum. And here he feels like now that he's out of the shadows of Norman Osborn, he can be the next great villain, a.k.a. his name is the Robot Master, okay? He got this Tri-Sentinel from this, I guess, this bunker. It's from the Life Foundation. He had this CD-ROM with it. When the other Spider-Man, costume Spider-Man, wound up taking the Tri-Sentinel over, he tried to go into help support by listening to the CD-ROM, and it winds up failing, and he's like, oh, goddamn CD-ROM, it doesn't work. It's just old dated technology, which is funny because it represents how old this guy is. So it's really, really good stuff in here. Then in the meantime, you get to see narration from Peter Parker, which is really well done as you get to see what the costume Spidey has been doing recently, right? The Looter has come around. Hydro Man has come around. We get to see Cyclone come around. And they're all being taken out by the Tri-Sentinel. And this is Spider-Man's new sidekick. He rides the Tri-Sentinel around. He put a Spider-Man face on it, like spray painted a face on it. And he's like, dude, check me out. He's like, I think I've watched the Iron Giant a few too many times, but who cares? He's destroying everything. He's just being so irresponsible. Okay? Meanwhile, on the other side of things, Peter Parker is the one who's kind of just down on himself. He doesn't have his Spidey powers, but he feels like he still has a responsibility. He tries to put himself, he tries to put others in front before himself. And Aunt May actually recognizes this, tries to leave him money, and that was a good moment there. Because I felt like Aunt May was actually Aunt May in this series. She wasn't trying to be somebody else, businesswoman or dating anybody else. It was Aunt May giving her nephew some good advice, trying to help him out. Great character moment, great writing there by Nick Spencer. Meantime, you get to see costume Spider-Man, right? He's living a life, he's doing the talk show circuit, he's sitting there going on The Bachelor, he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Meanwhile, once we see an Uber hero lift from Spidey, Peter's like, yeah, no more. I mean, he's taking this crap too far. Taking just civilians on his back? Yeah, no, and charging money for that? So Peter feels like he has to meet up with Spidey and have a talk with him and go, dude, you got to be more responsible in this. You're being too egotistical. You're so self-centered. Do you remember what happened last time you were so self-centered? And he goes, Uncle Ben was killed. And that Spider-Man was like, who's Uncle Ben? And just takes off. And Peter's like, what? You don't remember Uncle Ben? But you're me. It was a very cool scene there because it's like Peter always talks to himself in his head, right? Well, now he's talking to himself, but across from himself. You know, it's like that inner voice, but it's out of him. You know, it's very cool moments there. So Peter decides to go back to the lab, and then we wind up seeing that those two mice that were part of the separation project died. And all of a sudden, this raises a red flag for Peter, and he's like, holy crap. If they died, and the symptoms were memory loss and all these other things, then I'm on a timetable here. I'm going to die. So what's Peter going to do now that this situation is come to his attention, right? So really interesting stuff. And then by the time we get to the end of this issue, we see Mendel Stromm feeling down for himself. He wants to rise to the occasion, doesn't know how to be that A-rated villain. And then he hears this mysterious voice making deals with himself. You know, he's like, he's like, you gotta be with me, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you want to be the villain that you want. And then the next thing you wind up seeing is you see like 13, well, it's only 3. It's like 3 Tri-Sentinels that were released being created for him to destroy the city. And that's how the issue ends. So what did I think about this book? Really well told story. I love what Nick Spencer is doing with Spider-Man. It's a nice balance of dialogue. The story never feels like it drags on. There's good action, good character interactions. Peter is written perfectly here. May was written really well. Mendel Stromm seemed very interesting, even though it's a character we haven't seen very much. Shit, we're getting a Tri-Sentinel in this book that's a freaking robot, and yet that thing is cool. They made it into a Spidey sidekick. It was sitting next to the Statue of Liberty. It's so funny, you know? I mean, really great moments in this book. And if you decided to just stop reading Spider-Man, I say go out and pick it up. This is so much better than Dan Slott's run. I love it. Now, even though Mary Jane wasn't in this issue, remember, she will be back. She can't be in every issue, guys. So we have to deal with the situation at hand with Peter and this whole separation anxiety thing. I don't know if that's what you want to call it. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give this book a 4 3/4 out of 5 stars. I love this book. It's so well done. Artwork is great too. So guys, in the comments below, tell me what you thought of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 4. Are you a fan? Are you jumping back on board? And guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a single video from me. And guys, until that next comic book review, read those comics all day. Take care, guys. Bye.